Hi, my name's Kenneth, and today we'll be talking about my supermarket tour that I did for SOC A08. Now, for this assignment, I've chose to visit Freshco Supermarket near my house. And Freshco Supermarket is a discount supermarket chain that is owned by Sobeys, which in turn is part of the Empire Company, a Canadian conglomerate in food investment. The supermarket is located in a plaza near McCowan and Burrock Avenue in Markham, and the reason I chose the supermarket is because it's close to where I live, and in today's society, average consumer would probably choose the supermarket that is closer to their home since it's convenient and time saving. Speaking of today's society, supermarket have evolved into something new and not just your typical supermarket that sells grocery. It is a supermarket that do a lot more things such as offering pharmaceutical services and photo services. It all revolves around the one word, convenience. And with more and more service that it offers, supermarket are slowly losing its initial image. And I'll talk about initial image and food image in a later slide. Some expectation that I had before taking the tour would be, for example, seeing a lot of signs that constantly remind consumer of the savings that they can have by shopping at the supermarket, large shopping carts, and neatly stocked food and grocery. In reality, most of my expectations were met except for the neatly stocked cereal section, which I chose as one of my aisle for analyzing. According to the OPIRG reading on Supermarket Tour, upon entering the supermarket, consumers are already being manipulated to spend more money, and I cannot agree with it more. Large and deep shopping carts that makes consumers think that they need to buy more. Signs everywhere that reminds consumers that sales are happening and how much they can save. Product placement that lures consumers to buy what they like at first sight, and an atmosphere that is comfortable for consumers to stay for a long time to look for whatever they need, even though there might not be on the shopping list on the first place. I've chosen the cereal aisle as one of the aisle to analyze because I feel like it has one of the most interesting elements to me as a consumer when shopping for grocery, which is variety. According to an OPIRG reading, most of the cereal that are on the shelf in the supermarket are mainly owned by two corporate giants, which is Kellogg and General Mills. Not a lot of consumers will think about what companies own what brand of cereal. It might seem like consumers have a lot of choices to choose from when buying cereal, but in reality, they're all from the same company. From Special K cereal to Fruit Loops, and from Cheerios to Lucky Charms, they're all owned by just a few corporate giants. Are there still competition? If the trend continues, smaller companies will soon disappear and just as consumers think that there are competition between different brands of cereal, there actually isn't any. Moreover, cereals are strategically positioned at an eye level to catch children's attention and other types of consumer to buy certain brands of cereal. Bright color and eye-catching picture lures consumer to buy them regardless of the price. The supermarket also uses a boutiquing technique, which means that it places other products that consumer may buy when purchasing cereal. For example, beside the cereal, there is a shelf space for maple syrup and pancake mix, which is all items that people eat in breakfast. The technique convinces consumer to buy other related product that they might not seek in the first place, but because it's so convenient, consumer may spend more to save time, so to speak. One may ask, but where's the milk? Well, for items such as milk, egg, and bread, they're all strategically placed deep inside the supermarket, so consumers have to walk around the supermarket to get to them. And during the time that consumers are walking to those sections, there are high chances of consumer might stop by a certain product, and they might want to purchase it because it makes them think they need it. Another section that I chose to analyze is the junk food section, or the chips and drink section. I chose this section because it displays some similarity to the cereal section. Oftentimes, salsa are placed beside tortilla chips so they can be purchased together as complementary food, which in turn convinces consumers to spend more. Variety is also another issue. Yes, technically speaking, Coke is different from ginger ale and root beer, but nowadays consumers do not buy food based on what food and drinks they are. They buy food based on brand, size of the packaging, or the value that they get out of it. And it once again seems like there's a lot of different choices, but in reality, they're all owned by few companies only. For example, Pepsi Cola, Mug's Root Beer, Dorito chips are all just owned by Pepsi. And similarly, Coca-Cola owns Coke, Sprite, and Fanta. All these different brands are placed together to make consumers think that there are a lot of choices, but in reality, only a handful of companies owns them all. In terms of boutiquing technique, it is no surprise that chips and soft drinks are placed near each other as complementary food so consumer can impulse purchase even more. With today's food system, more and more consumers are forgetting about the origin of their food. Typically, a consumer's first thought about chips and drinks may be party and good times. They do not associate chips and soft drinks to potato farmer and water harvesting plant. Some may even think that Doritos are made from potatoes, but instead, they're actually made from corn. At most, consumer may associate these food to the large factory that are massively produced it, but that's where the association ends. To be honest, there isn't many surprises that happened during the tour. The information provided by OPRG are mostly true, and the only surprise about the tour are just the variety of cereal, chips, and drinks. But knowing fully that the supermarket is a place that manipulates consumers to spend more money, I still end up impulse buying at the checkout for a Red Bull energy drink. I would not say that the reading is biased because after all, supermarkets are a business. They have to make money somehow. All the technique and strategy are there so they can keep functioning and allowing consumer to buy groceries. Sure, food identity are slowly fading away, but we are living in a world that has evolved from the old days of farming, and we cannot solely blame supermarket for the fading of food identity. So how does this affect my future shopping experience? As the reading suggests, to avoid spending more money than what is needed, consumers should make a list of what they need and stick to it. To make sure we know what we're buying, be more aware of certain brands and the origin of the grocery that we're buying. Maybe look for certain labels that have special meaning, or maybe do a little bit more research before going to grocery shopping. And by having a list, hopefully we can reduce impulse buying at the checkout, but we are human beings after all. Impulse buying will always be a thing. Well, thanks for watching, and this has been my supermarket tour for SOC AO8.